Hey everybody, it's your girl Sherry. Welcome back to another episode of Alleged Actually Podcast. Today, I wanted to hop on and talk all things Real Housewives of Atlanta. So first off, I want to say if you're new over here, we do reality TV recaps and we also dive into some pop culture segments. Usually, lately, right now, we are dealing in the Bravo universe. And so today I'll be talking about Real Housewives of Atlanta. And you enjoy this, you can join us again tomorrow when me and my Bravo bestie Joey will be breaking down the latest episode of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And y'all, go ahead and do me a favor real quick too. Go ahead and like this live. If you're on the replay gang, go ahead and like this video. Slide in the comments and let me know what you're thinking about the new season of Atlanta, what you thought about last night's episode, Sunday night's episode. And just all in all, we love to hear from you. So slide in the comments and talk to us and we talk back. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and get subscribed and make sure you hit that notification bell so you'll be the first to know when we drop that good content. All right, guys. So I just want to get on here and talk about episode 3. First off, let me just say this. I'm enjoying Real Housewives of Atlanta. I know that everybody's kind of got like mixed emotions about it, but look, from a fan of the Atlanta Housewives from day one, I will say that I've been disappointed over the last couple of, I'd say maybe the last 3 years or so of Atlanta. And this season has proven to show some promise. I mean, look, some of y'all think that the newbies are thirsty or what have you, but they're coming with some good backstories. They're diving into their background, letting us into their families, their lives, their drama, and they're bringing it. So, unpopular or popular opinion, I am actually enjoying this season. And so we're going to get right into it. It opened up with Miss Brit Eady, child. We find out that she was a video vixen back in high school. Now, that's not the flex that she probably thought it was. But I'm thinking, okay, so video vixen as a high school student, man? Well, turns out Brit was in Soulja Boy's video, Kiss Me Through the Phone. Child, I had to go back and look because, listen, I remember those days when I used to watch 106 in Park, and that song was number 1 for quite a few weeks. She, in fact, is in the video. And so, okay. And I'm sure she's been in others, but that's a notable one that was pretty popular back in the day. So if y'all haven't seen her or recognized her, go back and check. She looks a little bit different. Looks like she might have had a little something done to her nose, but she looks good. All good. And so she is talking about her husband, Michael. Child, there has been a lot of chatter about her and Michael. Let me say this. Michael doesn't look like somebody that you would normally expect the way that she talks about herself and kind of her past. We find out that she's dated Rick Ross before, that she used to be a rapper. So he's totally not her typical type. But let's be clear, ladies. I mean, when you're ready to settle down, which is what she basically said it was giving in that season of her life. And she met Michael. And she said that he's really good to her. And so they decided to get married. So on the episode, her in-laws are coming over. And she was saying that, for her, this is something different. And they're going to renew their vows. And, they're talking about having children. Okay. So at the dinner, they have a nice catered dinner, and she pulls her sister-in-law to the side. And she's just talking to her a little bit about her background. So we find out how Brittany got into the insurance business. And we find out her father passed away in 2015. And he passed away at the time. He had like a $2 million. I'm sorry, guys. If you hear some noise in the background, I'm staying at my second home. Have been here all month, and we stay really close to a base. This is a home that we are It is our second home, but we are also planning as we get this project underway to Airbnb it in the future. So for all other real estate investors and Airbnbers, shout out to y'all. It's a lucrative business. Get into it. But back to the show. So she's talking about her backstory of how she got into owning her insurance business. Her father passed away in 2015. He had always been someone that had taken care of the family. At the time, he had a $2 million life insurance policy, but at the time of his death, he was in between two jobs, and so they did not get paid any money out of that policy. As a result, they had to resort to putting together a GoFundMe in order to bury her father. And I can imagine, I mean, yeah, that was pretty traumatic. And so, for that reason, she decided to get into the insurance business. She talks about how doing so, she had also decided to bring her sisters into it. So she has two sisters, and they had worked with her in the business. Child, I don't know about y'all, but sometimes you have to keep. Not sometimes. I find you have to keep business and family. A lot of times when you mix the two, it doesn't work. So as a result, one of her sisters, I think, ended up quitting. One she had to let go, and they are not on the best of terms now as a result. So, with that being said, sometimes, like I said, honey, when you get into business with family, it can mess things up. So, from there, we go over to the scene with Portia and Kelli. They are meeting up to talk about things. Child, I have a lot to say about Miss Portia. I am so disappointed, but let me talk about the scene and I'm going to get into why. So, she and Kelli are meeting up to talk about their differences. As you recall in episode 1, Kelli was the one that was very vocal of asking the question why Portia took that woman's husband. Some people thought that was unnecessary, her trying to catch a moment or what have you. Child, let's be clear. She simply was asking a question that a lot of us wanted to know. I mean, listen, I love Portia. Don't get me wrong, honey. I am a Portia fan. I'm a Portia stan. But it looked crazy back in the day when she was on the season with Fallon and she went over to the house. She was all up in the pool, honey, in her bathing suit. Because we know, honey, Portia's body gives adi. She was over there flaunting in front of that woman's husband. And honey, next thing you know, on the internet, love wins. And there's a picture of her with Simon and Dennis all at a Mother's Day brunch, honey. And then we find out, honey, it's Simon she's with and Simon she marries. So listen, I was down for the Gubadias and all that, Gubadias, however you say it, but you got to admit it looked kind of crazy. And so Kelli was asking what a lot of us were thinking. A lot of mixed reviews on Kelli. I like Kelli because she is transparent about her life. She's had a lot of drama. She's got the 4 daughters. And like I said, she made the comment to Shamea when Shamea, her and Brit had met up for drinks in episode 1. And it was Shamea that told Kelli, hey, if you want to know that, that's my friend, you should ask for yourself. Which at Shamea's birthday party she did. Hence some drama ensued. And so now the ladies are meeting up to kind of hash things out, if you will. And so they meet up and they talk about some things. She just kind of let Portia know that the combo was, because of what had happened when they had met for drinks. And so it was a misunderstanding. Portia seems a little taken aback, but she likes Kelli. She likes what Kelli's giving. And so the ladies enjoy themselves. And Kelli invites her to her Balmain event that she's having, a Mommy and Me event, to raise money for a charity that's near and dear to her heart. Portia said that, she knew that, Brittany was having some different personalities. She didn't know which one she was going to have to meet because she said that Kelli was loud. But all in all, y'all, they had a good meetup and Portia agrees to come to her event. So, child, then we head over to the studio with Miss Drew Sidora. Y'all, Drew. Drew is given a lot this so far this season, as far in the way of she seems to be very performative. She's got her acting on. It seems like Drew is lying some, in the blogs and out there in these social media streets. Ralph has been talking, and he is trying to clear his name, honey. He says that Drew is lying about a lot of things. Hey, it's not like she hasn't been caught in lies before. So there's that. And so she's in the studio, honey, and Cynthia, Kenya, and Angela Oakley comes to support her. And so they get a chance to catch up, and Angela lets the ladies know, or lets us know, that she met her husband while they were neighbors, child. They were neighbors in the same apartment. She became friends, or apartment complex. She became friends with the concierge, child, so she could kind of keep up with Mr. Oakley's whereabouts. And she kind of kept tabs on them. They started off as friends, and then it evolved. Another thing that I have heard a lot from the fans in the fan groups on social media, that they don't think that Charles likes Angela. For me, I know it may appear that way. I just think it's their banter. I think, he's kind of coming off as the grouchy type, and I feel like she can take it. She just kind of got that humor. Y'all let me know what you think, because Angela is giving me kind of like some Marlo vibes, a little something. Do y'all feel like that? I don't know. She's giving me a little old school Marlo Hampton vibes, as far as something about the way she carries herself. And I will say, Angela seems to really fit in with the Cynthias, the Kenyas. I feel like she could have done in the era of Atlanta back in the day, the Nenes, the Sherrays. Like, she could have really shined in that era. But I think she's definitely good for the show, because Kelli and Brit are giving a little younger vibes. Shamea, Portia, and then you have Cynthia there, Kenya for now, and Angela. So I think she's giving too. Um, but the ladies then asked Drew, "Where's Dennis?" Trying to be shady and funny. Child, Drew's lying, talking about she didn't talk to him on the phone. Then the producers go back and show him talking, and then Kenya says that she's wrong for working with Dennis, and particularly without talking to Portia. Now, guys, I want to hear from you, ladies, particularly, or guys. I mean, do you feel like Drew should have had that conversation with Portia before she started working with Dennis? My thoughts. It's not so much permission per se, but daggone, if we're supposed to be girls, I mean, they have a relationship. She has Drew as an ambassador, a brand ambassador for her Go Naked hair. Drew wears the hair. And it just seems like Drew was being sneaky, trying to film with Dennis, knowing that's her child's father. It's just giving. She talking about she tried to get Portia on the phone, but Portia didn't answer, and she tried again. But let's be clear now. If she wanted to have a conversation with Portia, she could have. I felt like she was trying to be vague on purpose, and it's giving messy. And y'all, I have heard on the blogs, and again, it has not officially been confirmed, but I'm hearing a lot of chatter about Drew and Dennis actually dating. So there's that. And Portia's not here for it. My opinion, I think she should have had a conversation with Portia too. It is giving sneaky. It is giving, like Portia said, a low down individual, child. Y'all slide in the comments to let me know your thoughts. But, basically, Drew gives a lot of excuses about how she couldn't get up with Portia. And Cynthia tells her about how when Kenya had wanted Leon, who is her daughter's father, and I apologize, y'all, there's more planes flying. They say that's the sound of freedom. So just give it a second, it'll blow over. But Cynthia tells a story about when Kenya was doing her pilot back in season 4. I think it was 4 or 5, 4 maybe. Life Goes On. And she had asked Leon to do the pilot with her. She had a conversation with Cynthia. And so, Cynthia's just kind of letting Drew know, I mean, girl code, dog. Like, if you want to work with somebody's child's dad, you need to kind of have a conversation if you don't want to look messy, or you don't want to look, like you're coming at it's like you're moving funny, right? I mean, I agree. And Cynthia even tells her, with all her excuses, she was like, you know what, Drew, baby daddy's hit different. I don't have to agree. You know, if you come, one of my good friends decides to behind my back go and start doing business with or whatever. I mean, I guess maybe it's a little different from me. But then again, no, I think out of respect, I'd appreciate that conversation. I wouldn't want to have to find out from others. So especially if we're supposed to be cool like that. So y'all slide in the comments and let me know what you think. All right, so then we go on over back to Shamea. Shamea has her sisters there. She has two sisters, and we find out they're really close. Her sisters have been her rock through her fertility journey, through the issues that she had with her second baby, Shiloh. They've been supportive, they've been helpful when she was, the baby was in the hospital, and they had to help with her other daughter, Shia. We come to find out she's had an ectopic pregnancy. So Shamia has really been going through it, trying to grow her family. And she just really appreciates her sister, both of her sisters, one of which we find out has lupus. They're very close knit, very, very tight, and that is her support system. Sadly, y'all, Shamia and Portia were besties as children, like teens, and this season's looking really shaky. We see as we get to the part in the episode where Portia and her mom talk, and I'll get to it in just a second. But I don't like the fact that they're not in a good place. We've come to know Shamia through Portia, but y'all, come on. I mean, I think it's a clear case of Portia is just not feeling that Shamia is getting all this shine. Um, it was supposed to be Portia's big comeback, y'all. And not to say we're not happy to see her back on our screens, but let's be clear. Simon put the kibosh, child, on the way she was supposed to come through. She can't film in her mansion. So she's had to be creative while filming. Um, it didn't work out like she thought it would. And then you have Shamea on the scene as a peach holder. She's a full-fledged housewife. Shamea has got the well child. She's got the good husband, the beautiful family, the banging Rolls Royce. I mean, I ain't trying to say she's jealous, but I'm saying it's not far-fetched, y'all. Slide in the comments. Let me know what you think. All right, so now we're over with Angela and Charles, and they are working on their investment property. We get to see they've been working on this property for 9 months, y'all. It looks really good. So she's hoping that Charles is going to, as a result of how things have turned around, how much work they put in the house, that Charles is going to trust her more with their investments and working in real estate, because that's what she does. And so, she talked about the time where apparently, and y'all, I got to do my research on Charles Oakley. Basketball, I love it, but I'm not as familiar with him. But she talks about a time when he got kicked out of Madison Garden, which was a low time for him. I don't know if that was, he just didn't get along with an owner or something. And as a result, it was a very dark time for him, very difficult time for them. They had to live apart. And I guess now they have come back together and they're trying to, build a strong connection. She just kind of fell back because she said as much as she wanted to be there for Charles in this dark time, she realized that she didn't know how or she couldn't. As a result, she pulled back, but they are now back together. All right. This next scene is Drew. She goes to see her lawyer. Child, this is where Ralph has some different things to say about the state of their separation. But she goes to see her lawyer, and she said that when they had gone to court, she was surprised that Ralph's attorney didn't show up. And it appears Ralph cross-examined Drew. That's strange. And then they were talking about her attorney is still trying to get Ralph out of the home because we find out that Ralph is been ordered to live in the basement. So he is to stay in the basement while Drew stays in the other portion of the house. The basement apparently has an outdoor entry, so it's like separate living, the whole nine. But they're trying to get him out of the house, and they've been trying to get Ralph's financial documents. Apparently, he's not releasing them, child. And so her attorney says, like, his situation, which is currently sealed now for the divorce, is about to get unsealed. So then it'll be, open for them to look through his financial documents. It'll be open to find out that Drew claims that he's a serial cheater, that he's taking money out of her account, that he had been speaking with women online, that he was tracking Drew. And so all of this is going to come out in the divorce. It's going to be unsealed, so it'll be open for her attorney to bring forth so the divorce can get going. Next thing, y'all, we go back over to Shamea. Her little girl, Shia, has to have her tonsils and adenoids removed. And Shia is a cute little girl, y'all. She's going to the hospital to get her procedure done in the magical car, child, because they are rolling in the Rolls Royce. And she's all excited, honey. And she's ready. But her poor daddy, we love Gerald Mwenge, who is Shamea's husband. He's nervous. I love them together, y'all. They seem like such a tight-knit family. I love all that melanin, honey. Successful Black family. I am totally here for it. I love what they represent. It's good for Atlanta, too. It's good, to have an intact husband and wife, family, the wealth, the whole nine. It is totally given. I am so glad Shamea is on this season as a full-time peach holder. And then, y'all, we go over to Portia and her mom. They're at a spa. And, y'all, this is when it comes out. When Portia's talking about her mom has been there with her throughout this divorce. We know that Miss Diane and her are extremely close. And, so, of course, that's her baby. And she says that the two divorces, because we know that when she first came on Housewives, she was married to Cordell Stewart. She said that divorce, she felt like the two of them were kind of in it together, divorcing each other with her and Simon, because Simon has really gone back and forth with her. We've seen him on social media. He's been trying to halt the way that she's making her money by petitioning for her not to be able to film in the home, trying to take back the Rolls Royce. Just Simon, it was petty. We now know that he was being detained by ICE, and I haven't gotten a update on that yet, but I think it's still pending. But prior to that, while she was filming that, Simon was blocking every move she was making to try to film, and I know it was frustrating for her. This was supposed to be her big comeback, y'all, and he was making it really difficult for her. But so she says going through this divorce, because now with all the stuff that's going on, she's just basically stopped speaking to him. So she said she just feels so alone. And so she said that she even tried reaching out to his family, and his family kind of like wanted nothing to do with it, because as y'all know, they had a wedding in the States here, and then they also had a wedding in Benin, where Simon is from, in Africa. And so the legal marriage here in the United States will be dissolved. The one in Africa, you're supposed to go to the elders, but his family is basically like, let's let it play out in the United States. Let's dissolve it that way and let it all be legally dissolved. So, child, they don't even want nothing to do with Portia. So, yeah, there it is. So, this is when Portia's telling her mom how, she had this brunch with, or this sit down with Kelli, and finds out that Shamea had said, when Kelli asked about, her stealing that woman's husband, that Shamea had told her to bring it up during the party. And y'all, that's not exactly how it went down. Really and truly, the way I saw it, and y'all can slide in the comments and let me know if I'm wrong, but it was Shamea telling her when she was bringing up her friend, like, yo, if you want to know, I'd rather you speak to Portia about it yourself, like to her face and not behind her back, is how I took it. Y'all let me know, how did you take it? Am I wrong? Miss Diane was not happy though. She was like, you need to watch the dog that carries that bone. In other words, her perspective was, why was Shamea so quick to tell her to do that instead of just defending her and squashing it? I feel like they took it out of context. Y'all slide in the comments and let me know what you thought. I mean, to me, it seemed like Portia was really amping it, looking for a reason to have beef with Shamea. So y'all let me know what y'all thought. Anyway, now we get to the event. Kelli and everybody's getting ready for her Balmain event, the Mommy and Me event. And she's working with Balmain in her event. She's basically got the store shut down for the event. So all of the proceeds from all of the Balmain, merchandise, whatever's in the store, 10% of it goes towards her charity. And different ones are showing up. Portia, Kenya's come with little cute Brooklyn. Portia's with cute Pilar. And Portia lets us know, honey, that she got a 15-minute beat because she shares a makeup and makeup artist and stylist with Drew. And Drew took a little extra time to be shady. So Portia had to get a quick little beat to get to the party on time, child. But all the ladies are there. And Cynthia talks to Portia about how she's dealing with the back and forth with Dennis. And yeah, she's hanging in there. Shamea then shows up, and then Angela trying to have a conversation with Shamea. Now, I didn't mention this, but in the episode last week, Shamea and Angela got into it when Shamea point blank addressed Drew at the party when all the ladies were together to find out what in fact was going on between her and Dennis. She asked Drew, were her and Dennis dating or seeing each other? Angela spinned it and said that she asked her point blank, was she effing him? And that ain't what she said, y'all. But anyway, honey, Shamea came quick with the shade, calling her not with that 90s nose, child. Kelli interrupts and talks about her cause. She has 4 daughters, we know. 3 of her daughters suffer from this disease, which is basically brittle bone disease. And when her daughter was starting to show signs of it, the hospital actually detained Kelli, because they thought that she was abusing her daughter. So the symptoms mimic as if, the child would be abused with the brittle bone. I'm sure the bones were broken or, fractured easily. And it took this foundation's, their funding and their research to help them get to the right diagnosis. They were in Maryland at the time. At that time, they figured out what it was, and she was able to go home and care for her daughter. So ever since then, we find out this has been a charity that's been very near and dear to her. And so Drew then shows up, and Kenya asks if she's talked to Portia, and she's like, no, I haven't. But, if we run into each other organically, we'll talk. Drew being shady, y'all. So back to Angela and Shamea, honey, they keep going with the confrontation. It's not going well. Angela, she says, is speaking for Drew, being Drew's mouthpiece. And so Angela tried to squash things, and Shamea's like, nope, I'm good on that. And Angela says that she's a mean girl, calls her Shamina. And child, then at some point, Angela calls her Flavor Flav. Yeah. But you know what I love about Shamea? She kind of let that roll off her back. She was like, yeah, well, because she's been talking about her 1999 nose, y'all. She said, truth be told, for Halloween, I did dress up as Flavor Flav. I just didn't know that Angela was coming to the party today as LaToya Jackson. Y'all, when she said it, y'all, I couldn't unsee it. Because Angela was definitely giving me a little Latoya Jackson, child. I'm gonna have to put her on the screen so y'all can see what she was giving, because it was giving. It honestly was giving a little bit. This is the three newbies all together, and we got Angela on the right, y'all. That nose is a little pinched. I was giving a little bit of Latoya Jackson. So, okay, Shamea did that. Okay. So, anyway, honey, they go back and forth, honey, forth and back. And Shamea says, like I said, she calls her Latoya Jackson. And, but Shamea and Drew get a chance to talk about things. And Shamea explains that she was just trying to clarify at the party, whatever. And they make amends, honey. So, at the event, we find out that overall they raised $30,000, 10% is going to her cause. So Kelli is happy. It's been a good night, even with all the fighting and the drama. But we close out that episode with this Drew coming up to Portia like, "You ready to talk?" And Portia was like, "Nope." And she was like, "Well, you're the one that said you want to talk." And she was like, "Nah, like, you're not about to come up to me and tell me we're going to talk right now." Y'all, what I thought was so funny is when Portia said she looked around to see what was the audacity, and she said she found it, honey. She saw Drew had backup, her sister Allison. She was like, "Okay, well, I see she done had her audacity was her backup. She had Heavy D with her." And she was like, "No, ma'am, not today. You're not going to get it." So Portia does not talk to Drew, honey. And so they wrap it up, y'all. And that was pretty much episode 3. Now, I can't wait till next week, y'all. We're going to get more into it. Like I said, I'm really feeling this season so far. So I'm going to keep recapping. You keep coming back over here. Slide in the comments, y'all, and let me know what you thought about episode 3 and what you're thinking about the season in general. Are y'all enjoying it? Are y'all here for the newbies? If so, who are you feeling? I'm thinking, honestly, I know that Kelli was rubbing folks the wrong way, but I think that her story is compelling. So I'm here to see her evolve as a housewife. I'm still waiting to see how things just start to blow up with Brit and Kenya. And so I'm following her too. I think Angela is a nice addition. She's really settling in. She's got some quick wit, some shade. Her and Shamea went back very nicely. So yeah, I'm here for it. So I really enjoyed it, y'all. And I'm going to ask y'all if you enjoyed this. If you haven't yet, go ahead and give me the thumbs up, like this video, go ahead, subscribe, share with your family and friends, and hit that notification bell, y'all, so you know when we come on. Please join me and Joey tomorrow when we get into our Bravo Bestie Breakdown, when we talk all things Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Tomorrow night is going to be the finale. And so you want to come back over here and hear what we have to say. So y'all, as always, thank you so much for tuning in. And join us tomorrow again when we talk Beverly Hills. All right, guys? Y'all have a good night. All right. Bye.